The first time she corrected me, I laughed. The second time, I noticed. The third time, I started paying attention. Her name was Maribel, our new housekeeper. Hired after my promotion turned my schedule into something between an airport board and a medical chart. 3 days a week. Quiet, efficient, invisible. That's what I thought. Until she knew things she shouldn't. "Sir doesn't like the blue mug on Mondays," she said casually one morning, moving it aside while setting the coffee tray. I smiled. "He doesn't care about mugs." She shook her head gently. "He does. Mondays. White ceramic only." I almost corrected her, then stopped because the white mug was, in fact, already sitting on the counter. My husband Daniel walked in 5 minutes later, grabbed it automatically, and said, "Perfect, thank you," without even looking. I stared. Coincidence, I told myself. Patterns happen accidentally all the time. That afternoon, she asked, "Will he be late Thursday again?" "Again?" I said. "Yes. Thursdays he eats outside." "He has a standing client dinner," I replied. She gave a small, polite smile, the kind service workers use when they know more than they can say. "Yes," she said. "Dinner." Not agreement. Translation. Maribel moved through the house like she'd studied it, not mapped it, studied it. Not just where things went, how they were used. She didn't ask where the spare batteries were. She opened the correct drawer. She didn't ask which shirts were dry clean only. She separated them right the first time. Efficiency can come from experience. Accuracy comes from exposure. "How long did you work for the agency?" I asked her once. "Not long," she said. "I learned fast." I believed that until Tuesday night. Daniel came home late, later than usual, loosened tie, distracted energy, phone face down on the table, which is how men place phones when they think placement is strategy. "Long day?" I asked. "Brutal," he said. "Didn't even eat." From the kitchen, Maribel's voice floated out. Neutral, calm. "He ate." We both turned. She stepped into the doorway with a dish towel in her hands, expression unchanged, like she'd commented on the weather. Daniel laughed too quickly. "Snack," he said. "Not dinner." She nodded once, polite, and disappeared back into the kitchen. The air shifted. How would she know? I asked lightly. "Kitchen trash," he said. "Takeout container." Reasonable. Except the trash was empty. I'd taken it out myself before he got home. I filed that away. Evidence first. Emotion later. 2 days later, I came home early, canceled meeting, migraine, silence house, mid-afternoon light. Maribel's car was in the driveway. Scheduled day, expected. What wasn't expected was Daniel's. He'd told me he'd be at an off-site audit all day. I entered quietly, habit from headaches, and heard voices in the kitchen. Not flirting, not fighting, familiar. "Same way as always," she was saying. "I know," Daniel answered, relaxed. Not employer voice, not polite voice, equal voice. "I'll fix it," she said. "You always do." I stepped into the doorway. They both turned, surprised but not startled. That difference matters. "Home early," I said. "Headache?" Maribel asked instantly. I blinked. "Yes." "I made ginger tea," she said. "It helps you." Not people. Not headaches. You. "How do you know that?" I asked. "You told me," she replied smoothly. I hadn't. Daniel smiled. "See? She's good." Good. At what? Because now. It didn't feel like cleaning. It felt like familiarity. I didn't question her in that moment. Headaches are useful cover. People don't expect investigation from someone pressing fingers to their temple. "Thank you," I said, taking the tea. It was exactly how I make it, sliced ginger, not grated. Honey first, lemon last. Details are fingerprints. I went upstairs slowly and closed the bedroom door, not to lie down, to check timelines. Daniel's shared work calendar still showed him at the off-site audit until 6 p.m. Current time, 2:18 p.m. Location, my kitchen. Calendar fiction is still fiction. I opened our doorbell and interior camera feeds. We keep them for package theft. Nothing dramatic, just modern paranoia. I scrolled back. 11:42 a.m. Daniel entered through the garage. Noon. Maribel arrived normal. No surprise there. What caught my eye was what happened next. They didn't greet like employer and staff. No doorway pause. No task check. No distance. They continued a conversation already in progress. That only happens when people talk before arrival. My phone buzzed. Text from Daniel, sent 10 minutes earlier. Daniel, audit dragging. Might be late. Sent from my house Wi-Fi. The message metadata confirmed it. I sat on the edge of the bed and let the migraine turn into clarity. Not panic. Not yet. Pattern first. I went back downstairs 20 minutes later. Quieter. Observant. Headache face still on. Maribel was labeling pantry jars. Not just labels, my handwriting style. Block caps. Black marker. Left aligned. I never told her that preference. You're improving my system, I said. Yes, she smiled. He likes it this way. He, not you. He cooks now, I asked. Sometimes, she said. When you're late. I'm late often. Too often. Do you work other houses? I asked. Not anymore. How come? Full schedule here. 3 days a week is not full schedule. Unless duties extend beyond cleaning. Who hired you? I asked, watching Daniel over her shoulder. You did, he answered quickly. I approved an agency, I said. Not a person. Agency center, he replied. Maribel kept writing labels, not looking up, like this line had been rehearsed. Which agency? I asked. He named one. I Googled it on my phone under the table. Closed 6 months ago. Interesting. That night, I tested something small. Daniel hates cilantro, I said casually at dinner. Maribel, clearing plates, shook her head gently. No, she said. Only when it's chopped. Daniel froze mid-bite. Because that was true. I stared at him. You never noticed? He asked me. No, I answered honestly. You never told me. I don't like repeating myself, he said. But he had repeated it. To her. How long have you worked with my husband? I asked her directly. She met my eyes, steady, respectful, and said, long enough to learn him. That is not a duration. That is a relationship answer. At 10:47 p.m., after Daniel fell asleep, I checked his phone. Not unlocked, just notification previews, enough. Message banner. Maribel. Tomorrow, same time? I'll come through back. Back entrance, staff path, secrecy path, convenience path. I didn't open it. Opening alerts liars. Instead, I photographed the preview and left the phone exactly as placed. Angle matters, dust patterns matter. Liars notice disturbances more than partners do. In the bathroom mirror, I looked like someone else, not betrayed, upgraded. Because suspicion had matured into inquiry. Next morning, I called the agency anyway. Old number, rerouted voicemail. Then I checked payroll. No agency payments. Direct transfers. From Daniel's personal account. Memo line. Household. Special. Special. I almost laughed. Because men who lie always choose words that confess quietly. I texted Maribel at noon. First time ever. Me. What time are you coming tomorrow? Reply came in 5 seconds. Maribel. Ask him. He sets my hours. Not my house. His hours. His schedule. His maid. His system. And I finally understood. I wasn't her employer. I was her cover. I stopped reacting after that. Reaction feeds liars. Observation drains them. The next morning I acted exactly the same routine, same goodbye kiss, same rushed grab of my laptop bag. Daniel relaxed visibly. Tension only lives where resistance appears. I'll be late, he said. Of course, I smiled. It's Thursday. He didn't catch the test. He just nodded, confirmation by reflex. At 9:12 a.m., I parked 2 blocks away instead of going to the office. Laptop open. Camera feeds up. Phone on silent. At 9:26, Maribel arrived, back entrance, just like the message preview said. She didn't ring. Didn't knock. Code entry, fluent practiced. At 9:31, Daniel returned. Not rushed. Not hiding. Comfort walk. They met in the kitchen. No greeting gap. Conversation resumed mid-thread again. Audio picked up fragments. She's noticing patterns, Maribel said. I know, Daniel replied. Stay normal. I am normal. No, you're precise, he said, almost affectionate. Precision is intimacy language in operational people. She poured his coffee, white mug, Monday mug, even though it was Thursday. He didn't notice the mismatch, which told me something new. The mug rule wasn't preference. It was her system projected as his. Control disguised as service. At 10:04, they moved to the dining table with papers. Not cleaning supplies. Documents. She opened a folder I'd never seen. Tabs. Notes. My schedule printed. Highlighted. My schedule. Color-coded blocks labeled. Home late travel WFH risk. Risk. I took screenshots. That word changes everything. They weren't sneaking around opportunity. They were planning around absence. At 10:22, my phone buzzed. Daniel. Crazy audit. Buried all morning. Timestamp matched the moment he laughed at something she said on camera. I didn't feel anger. I felt confirmation. Anger is loud. Confirmation is cold. At noon I did something liars never expect. I rang my own doorbell. Camera showed them both look up, surprised, unscripted, real. Maribel moved first, not Daniel. She adjusted the table, closed the folder, stacked papers, concealment reflex, trained. Daniel opened the door. You forgot something? He asked. Yes, I said. My house. He blinked, micro, confusion, then smiled. Headache better? Much. I walked straight to the dining table and sat down. No one invited me. Power is often just sitting first. What are we working on? I asked pleasantly. Inventory, Maribel said. Show me. She opened the top sheet. Pantry list. Cover layer. Under that, I said. She didn't move. Daniel stepped in. You're being intense. Yes, I said. Because I live here. Silence stretched. Then she lifted the pantry sheet. My schedule grid stared back at me. Highlighted late blocks, circled Thursdays, arrows drawn. Explain, I said. Daniel tried first. Household optimization. I looked at her instead. She answered instead. Access planning. Truth comes fastest from the non-spouse under pressure. Access to what? I asked. She held my gaze. Him. No tremor. No apology. Just accuracy. Daniel exhaled. That's not what she means. It is, Maribel said quietly. He turned to her, sharp look. First crack between them. You said transparency phase, she added. Ah. Project language again. Phase of what? I asked. Neither answered fast enough. So, I did what investigators do when silence lies. I changed the question. How long have you known my husband? She replied instantly. 8 years. I did the math out loud. We've been married 6. Yes, she said, which meant she knew him before I did. And suddenly the title in my head flipped. Not maid. Not help. Predecessor. 8 years. I repeated. The number didn't echo, it anchored. Daniel stepped in fast. Context matters. It always does, I said. Provide it. He gestured toward Maribel. She used to work with my family. Not for. With. Language slip. She didn't correct him. In what capacity? I asked. Care support, she said. For his mother. I knew about his mother, or thought I did. Passed away 5 years ago. Long illness. In-home assistance near the end. You were her caregiver? I asked. Yes. That part tracked. What happened after she passed? I asked. Daniel answered too quickly. We stayed in touch. Stayed in touch is elastic, stretches to hide years. How in touch? I asked. Maribel answered instead of him. I handled his personal logistics for a while, she said. Appointments, meals, medication schedules, then business schedules. So, personal assistant, I said. Yes. Paid. Yes. Continuously? Pause. Mostly, she said. Continuous relationship. Renamed, reintroduced. Repositioned as Maid. Not new hire. Legacy access. Why didn't you tell me she already worked for you? I asked Daniel. You were overwhelmed when you got promoted, he said. I simplified the story. Simplified equals concealed. You mean you downgraded the role, so I wouldn't ask questions. Yes, he said quietly. Honest finally, and that honesty made it worse. I looked at the printed schedule again, my movements mapped like weather patterns. Why am I labeled risk? I asked. Daniel opened his mouth. Maribel spoke first. Because you observe, she said. Direct. No insult, just classification. And access planning. I continued. Was planning access to you during my absence? Yes, she said. No, he said at the same time. Conflict confirmed truth. I leaned back. Are you two having an affair? I asked, clean, uncharged, precise. Daniel. No, Maribel. Not now. I turned to her slowly. Define not now. She didn't look away. History, she said. Not present. How much history? Before your marriage. I looked at him. He nodded once. Yes. There it was, the buried variable. How long? I asked. On and off, 2 years, he said. Before me. Ended, allegedly, when we started dating. Ended. I asked her. Yes, she said. Physically. Qualifier detected. Emotionally? I asked. She took a breath. Attachment doesn't switch off, she replied. True, and dangerous. Daniel rubbed his temples. This is being framed wrong. Then frame it right, I said. She's loyal, he said. To what? I asked. He answered without realizing the confession inside it. To me. Not to the job. Not to the house. To him. Ownership vector exposed. Why bring her into my home? I asked quietly. Because she already knew my systems, he said. It was efficient. There it was again. Efficiency over transparency. I looked at Maribel. Do you want him? I asked. She didn't rush. No, she said. I want proximity. That answer was more honest than desire. Why? I asked. Because he functions better when managed, she replied. Managed. Not loved. Managed. Daniel almost smiled, like that was praise. It wasn't. My phone buzzed, Maya. I answered and put her on speaker without explanation. Records confirmed, she said. Payroll trail goes back 7 years, continuous. Role changes only in naming. Thank you, I said. Daniel closed his eyes briefly. You're auditing my life now, he said. Yes, I replied. Because you structured it like a business. Silence filled the kitchen, thick, undeniable. And in that silence, I finally understood. She didn't know my husband better than I did. She built the version I married. Once the truth had a full shape, the tension changed. Before, it was suspicion, unstable, searching. Now it was structure, solid, named. No one raised their voice. That surprised all three of us. I closed the folder with my schedule in it and slid it to the center of the table. Here's what's going to happen, I said calmly. No drama, just decisions. Daniel watched me carefully like he does in negotiations, because that's what this felt like to him now. A deal collapsing. Maribel, I said, turning to her first, are you willing to end all non-professional involvement with my husband, including schedule management, personal logistics, and private access? Yes, she answered immediately. No hesitation. Truth indicator. Daniel looked at her, not betrayed, inconvenienced. That's unnecessary, he said. It's done, she replied quietly. Interesting. She wasn't choosing him. She was choosing closure. Second, I continued. Your access codes are revoked today. She nodded. Understood. No protest. No bargaining. That told me something important. She expected this phase eventually. Projects end. People like them plan for offboarding. I turned to Daniel. You, I said, will disclose every paid role she has held for you, personal and business, in writing, by tonight. He nodded. Okay. Not okay, I corrected. Required. Required, he agreed. Language matters. Third, I said, we're entering financial and digital transparency review. He almost laughed. You're serious. I am structured, I replied. Recognition flickered. He'd used that line before. Now it belonged to me. Maribel stood first. I'll finish today's work and leave the keys, she said. No, I answered. You'll leave now. She accepted that without offense, removed her gloves, placed them on the counter, then took a small envelope from her bag and set it beside the sink. What's that? I asked. Original house system notes, she said. From before you moved in. I opened it. Binders. Appliance logs. Maintenance schedules. Vendor contacts. Daniel's dietary routines, sleep cycles, medication history, stress triggers. A human operations manual. She had been running his life longer than I had been in it. Why give me this? I asked. Because you should have had it, she said simply. Not apology. Correction. She left quietly, no theatrics. Front door, not back. Roll ended with dignity. That, oddly, earned my respect. Daniel and I sat alone in the kitchen. The first real silence between us in years. Not filled with phones or plans. You feel replaced, he said. No, I answered. I feel informed. That's colder. It's clearer. He studied me, recalibrating again. I never cheated during our marriage, he said. I believe you, I replied. That startled him. Then why does this feel like betrayal to you? He asked. Because you outsourced intimacy, I said. Not sex dependency. He leaned back slowly. That landed. You let someone else know your rhythms, your needs, your weaknesses, and hid that from your spouse. I continued. That's not an affair. That's displacement. He didn't argue, which meant accuracy. I thought it protected you, he said. From what? The load. The truth is not load, I replied. Secrecy is. He looked down at the system notes envelope still open on the counter. She kept me functioning, he said. I can see that, I answered. Then I added the sentence that closed the whole story. But she also kept you from growing. That one hurt him, not emotionally, structurally, because it was true. 3 months later, our marriage looked different. Not magically healed, not destroyed, rebuilt with visibility. No hidden roles. No unnamed dependencies. No silent managers. We hired a cleaning service, rotating staff, no personal integration. Systems shared. Schedules mutual. Access logged. Daniel learned his own routines for the first time in a decade. It was messy. It was human. It was real. Maya asked me once, what was the real shock? The history or the structure? Neither, I said. Then what? That she didn't steal my husband. She optimized him. And optimization, without consent, is just another kind of control.